Mr. James, in 30 years of police work, I've never seen anything like this. Detective Sarah Chen was staring at the evidence board in the Cleveland Police Department's Major Crimes Unit. Photos of the poisoned dinner. Chemical analysis reports showing lethal levels of arsenic. Bank records showing a $50,000 payment to Chef Marcus Rivera. But it wasn't the attempted murder that shocked the veteran detective. It was the identity of the person who had paid for it. The person who wanted your family dead, Detective Chen told LeBron, isn't someone you'd ever suspect. In fact, you've been helping this person for years. You trust them completely. And they almost succeeded in killing everyone you love. Have you ever trusted someone so completely that you never saw betrayal coming? Have you ever wondered how close evil can get to your family before you notice? Have you ever realized that the people trying to destroy you might be the ones you've been helping all along? This is the story of how LeBron James discovered that kindness can be mistaken for weakness, that generosity can breed resentment, and that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one you never suspect. The poisoning attempt happened on June 3, 2022, during what should have been a peaceful family dinner at the James household in Brentwood. LeBron had just returned from a charity event where he'd donated $2 million to Cleveland food banks, money that would ironically save more lives than he knew. Marcus Rivera had been LeBron's personal chef for 3 years. He wasn't just an employee, he was considered family. Marcus cooked for birthday parties, holiday celebrations, and quiet family dinners. He knew that Bronny was allergic to shellfish, that Savannah preferred her vegetables steamed, and that little Jury would only eat pasta if it was shaped like butterflies. But Marcus had secrets. Debts that were crushing him. Threats that were terrifying him. And people who had convinced him that his only way out was to betray the family who trusted him most. The $50,000 payment had arrived in Marcus's account 3 days before the dinner. Enough money to solve his immediate problems, but not enough to buy back his soul. The person who paid him had been planning this for months, studying the James family's routines, learning their vulnerabilities, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. What made this case so shocking wasn't just the attempted murder of a celebrity family. It was the revelation that this wasn't an isolated incident. Marcus Rivera was part of a network, a conspiracy that reached into Cleveland's most trusted restaurants, involving chefs, servers, and managers who had all been compromised in similar ways. The person behind it all had been using LeBron's own generosity against him, turning his acts of kindness into weapons of destruction. And they had almost succeeded. Marcus Rivera's nightmare had started 6 months earlier with a single phone call. "We know about the money you owe," the voice said. "We know about your daughter's medical bills. We know about your mother's mortgage. And we know exactly how to solve all your problems." Marcus owed $180,000 in medical debt from his daughter Sophia's leukemia treatment. His mother was 3 months behind on her mortgage. His wife had been working 3 jobs just to keep their family afloat. He was drowning financially, despite earning $120,000 a year as LeBron's personal chef. The voice on the phone belonged to Vincent Castellano, a man Marcus had never heard of but who seemed to know everything about his life. Vincent owned a catering company that supplied food to some of Cleveland's biggest events. He also ran an underground network that nobody talked about publicly. "Here's how this works," Vincent had explained during their first meeting. "You do one small favor for me, and all your money problems disappear. Your daughter gets the best cancer treatment money can buy. Your mother keeps her house. Your wife can quit those extra jobs." Marcus thought it would be something simple, maybe stealing LeBron's meal preferences for a competitor, or providing inside information about the family's schedule. He never imagined Vincent wanted him to become a killer. The conspiracy Vincent ran was more sophisticated than anything the police had encountered. He had compromised chefs in 12 different restaurants across Cleveland, all of them facing similar financial crises. Some were threatened, others were bribed, but all were desperate enough to consider the unthinkable. It's not just about LeBron, Detective Chen explained to LeBron during their investigation. Vincent has been systematically targeting wealthy families throughout the city. He finds their weak spots, the trusted employees with money problems, and turns them into weapons. The plan was always the same: create a financial crisis for a key employee, offer a solution that required betraying their employer, then use that betrayal to gain access to the family's private life. Sometimes it was for robbery, sometimes for kidnapping, and sometimes, like with LeBron, for murder. But Vincent Castellano wasn't working alone. The investigation revealed that he was being funded by someone with much deeper pockets and a much more personal grudge against LeBron James. The person who wanted LeBron's family dead had been watching, waiting, and planning this attack for over 2 years. They had studied LeBron's security, his routines, his trust patterns. They knew that the way to get to LeBron wasn't through force. It was through the people he loved most. And they had chosen the perfect weapon: a desperate father who would do anything to save his daughter's life. The name on the bank transfer made Detective Chen's blood run cold. Dr. Amanda Harrison, she read aloud from the financial records. She's been funding Vincent Castellano's entire operation. LeBron's face went white. Dr. Harrison wasn't some random enemy or business rival. She was the head of pediatric oncology at Cleveland Children's Hospital, the doctor who had been treating dozens of children whose families LeBron had helped through his foundation. For 5 years, LeBron had donated over $15 million to the hospital's cancer ward. He had personally funded treatment for children whose families couldn't afford it. He had visited sick kids, brought them gifts, and given their families hope during their darkest moments. Dr. Harrison had been there through it all, smiling, thanking LeBron for his generosity, even posing for photos with him at charity events. She was supposed to be saving children's lives, not orchestrating the murder of the man who was helping her do it. Why? LeBron asked Detective Chen. Why would she want to kill my family? I've been helping her patients for years. The answer was more twisted than anyone could have imagined. Dr. Harrison hadn't been using LeBron's donations to treat children. She had been stealing them, creating fake medical bills, and pocketing millions of dollars while children suffered without proper care. When LeBron's foundation started asking for more detailed financial reports, Dr. Harrison realized her theft was about to be discovered. She knew that once LeBron uncovered her crimes, she would lose everything: her medical license, her reputation, her freedom. So she decided to eliminate the problem permanently. The plan was sophisticated and cruel. Dr. Harrison would use Vincent Castellano's network to kill LeBron's family, making it look like a random attack by a disgruntled employee. With LeBron dead, there would be no one to investigate the missing money. The foundation would likely shut down, and her crimes would remain hidden forever. But Dr. Harrison had made one crucial mistake. She had underestimated how thoroughly LeBron's security team investigated threats. When Marcus Rivera was arrested, his phone contained months of communications that led investigators straight to Vincent. And from Vincent to the doctor, who had been betraying sick children while planning murder. She's been playing the long game, Detective Chen explained. Using your own charity against you, turning your kindness into a weapon to destroy you. The revelation devastated LeBron. Not only had someone tried to murder his family, but they had stolen money meant to save children's lives. Kids had probably died because of Dr. Harrison's greed while she smiled and shook hands with the man she was planning to kill. LeBron's response to this betrayal would not only destroy Dr. Harrison's life, it would revolutionize how charity organizations protect themselves and change the restaurant industry forever. LeBron James didn't just want justice. He wanted to make sure this could never happen to another family again. Within 24 hours of Dr. Harrison's arrest, LeBron announced the most comprehensive background check system the food service industry had ever seen. Every restaurant in Cleveland would be required to use his new security protocols, or they would lose access to the wealthy clientele that kept them in business. The Harrison Protocol, as it became known, required restaurants to conduct monthly financial audits of all kitchen staff, implement psychological evaluations for employees with access to private dining, and install monitoring systems in all food preparation areas. But LeBron's most devastating move was economic. He convinced every major celebrity, athlete, and business leader in Cleveland to boycott any restaurant that didn't comply with the new safety standards. Within a week, restaurants were facing a choice: fire their entire staff and start over with verified employees, or watch their businesses collapse. The effect was immediate and brutal. Every restaurant in Cleveland fired their kitchen staff, not because they were all compromised, but because no one could prove they weren't. Hundreds of innocent chefs, cooks, and servers lost their jobs overnight as restaurants scrambled to meet LeBron's demands. Marcus Rivera, the chef who had almost poisoned LeBron's family, broke down in court during his sentencing. "I never wanted to hurt anyone," he sobbed. "My daughter was dying, and they said this was the only way to save her. I'm not a killer. I'm just a father who made the worst decision of his life." The judge sentenced Marcus to 15 years in prison. But LeBron did something unexpected. He established a fund to pay for Marcus's daughter's cancer treatment and his mother's mortgage. "I won't let a child suffer because her father was manipulated by evil people," LeBron announced. Dr. Amanda Harrison received life in prison without parole for attempted murder and embezzling over $8 million from sick children. The stolen money was recovered and returned to the families who needed it, but for some children, the delayed treatment had come too late. Vincent Castellano and his entire network were dismantled. 12 restaurants lost their licenses permanently. The FBI discovered similar operations in 6 other cities, all connected to Dr. Harrison's scheme. The food service industry was transformed forever. The Harrison Protocol became the national standard for private chef services. Insurance companies now require the background checks LeBron pioneered. The changes probably prevented dozens of similar attacks on wealthy families. But the cost was enormous. Over 300 restaurant workers lost their jobs. Some never worked in food service again. Entire families were destroyed by suspicion and fear. "Sometimes protecting the innocent requires punishing the innocent too," LeBron said in his only interview about the incident. "I'll carry that weight forever, but I'll never apologize for making sure no family goes through what mine went through." Today, Marcus Rivera is still in prison, but his daughter Sophia is cancer-free thanks to LeBron's fund. Dr. Harrison sits in solitary confinement, having lost everything she once valued. And every restaurant kitchen in America operates a little differently because one man refused to let evil hide behind kindness. The most trusted person in LeBron's life had almost become his family's killer. But his response ensured that trust would never again be weaponized so easily against the innocent.